Hello, my friends. Katie Day with the Moving to Texas team here with yet another episode of the Real Advice podcast. I am excited to welcome this week's guest, who has been a top team in Maryland, ranked by the Wall Street Journal since 2017. I think that's actually when the ranking started. So he's been on the top for a while, but his group is nearing $1 billion in lifetime residential sales transactions. He personally looks for opportunities to develop both personally and professionally in order to provide world-class service to his clients, and is passionate about helping his clients achieve the best possible outcomes in their real estate transactions. I recently had the opportunity to hear him speak at a conference, and I'm really excited to unpack more with him today, and I am sure we will have some hot takes on real estate. Please join me in welcoming Andrew Undem, team leader of the Sure Sales Group based in Baltimore, Maryland. What's going on?
Katie, that was a great intro, and I'm honored to be here. Thanks so much for having me as a guest. And look, real estate's a crazy business, always changing like most industries. So there's a lot to talk about, and hopefully the listeners can get a nugget or two and be glad they tuned in.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to unpack, just everything with you. We'll start out with like kind of the softball, easy stuff, So how did you get into real estate? How did you come upon this career?
Yeah, I didn't have any family in real estate, and I kind of did stumble into it. I was in college in 2000. I graduated college 2009, and I was studying to be in finance. I wanted to be a chartered financial analyst, a CFA.
All right.
Which is ironic, because I'm not even that good at math, but I wanted to be a money guy. I was always like, man, this seems cool.
You wanted money.
Yeah, and just managing it and how it works, and it's just a fascinating environment. Well, if you remember back in 2009, right after what happened in 2008, people, those jobs weren't really in demand. People were getting fired a lot. Quality people, things were shutting down. So when I graduated college, I ended up selling cars, because I'd sold cars in the summers of college, which is a great job, particularly for a younger. Well, it's a good job, period. It kind of gets a bad rap. So I was doing that, couldn't find a job in finance. So I started selling Porsches and Audis for like 10 months. So
all right,
I did that for 10 months, probably was making about 6 figures as a 21-year-old, which was exciting. And then I ended up selling a car to someone who's a sales manager for a home builder. And she said, Andrew, do you like working here? She's buying an Audi. And I said, no, I hate it. Thanks for asking. Our rapport was really strong. No, I hate it. I wake up, it's dark. I get home, it's dark. I work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day. You have to work on the weekends. It's a tough gig. She goes, you should sell houses. So that's the abbreviated version. I started selling homes for a builder, which was an awesome experience, selling new home construction. And then I left that to get into general brokerage when I saw how much, good agents could make and have the, agency over themselves to go do whatever they want instead of just selling one community. And that's how it started.
I feel like a lot of new home sales consultants and people in new construction end up moving into the real estate realm, right? And start selling homes just generally. Because it's like a lot of the people that I talk to that are super driven, right? And end up having big teams like yours and things like that. Like, they get frustrated because they can't sell homes to buyers because they still need to sell a home. Or, they know that the buyer, they're talking to the buyer here, but like they know that they're going to do something else and they just can't help them. They're like, all right, well, good luck to you. Have good luck out there. Right. And so a lot of people that I've talked to recently, like used to be in new home sales, right? And then they make the transition into being a residential real estate agent. What advice would you give to a brand new agent in today's market?
Oh man, there's a lot of things. But before I answer that, I bet most of the people who were formal new home salespeople that are pretty good agents. Fair?
Yeah, definitely.
And here's the thing. I just did a whole course on this called the Blueprint to, having allies in new homes. Right now, Katie, 1/3 of all the active listings in the United States are new home construction. And new home sales is such a powerful tool to understand and leverage as a general brokerage agent. And a lot of times people don't understand, and they don't want to, because it's easier just to avoid it. I don't know when I'm going to get paid. Some of these are spec homes. Some of these are to be built. Some builders pay commissions. Some don't. It's a different process. But if you really can understand the power of becoming allies with a builder and a new home salesperson as a general agent, I think that's who like most of your listeners are. If you're an agent, say, wow, if you can go in and help people get what they want, which is what we're trying to do no matter who we're talking to, but what does the new home builder want? They want more traffic. They want to sell homes. If you can help them with that, they can be the most powerful influence in your business. It's like Zillow leads on steroids, because 92% of people who walk into a model home are not represented and don't actually buy there.
Yeah.
They don't buy it. They don't like the schools. They don't like the timing. They don't like the lots. They don't like the floor plan, whatever. But that's a qualified buyer walking in unrepresented, talking to the sales rep. If that sales rep likes you, Katie, and say, hey, look, it sounds like I don't have what you're looking for here at this community. Call Katie Day. She'll be able to help you anywhere in Texas. Wouldn't that be nice if someone just sent you leads like that? Or, hey, I really want to buy here, but you have a home to sell. Call Katie Day. She's going to get your home. She can get your home listed in 5 days. So I don't want to go on a full diatribe about that, but that industry, new home construction and builders, I wouldn't ignore that one. Well, I was going to go to your other question, which is I definitely tell a new agent, let's look at the surroundings. Let's look what's going on here.
Yeah.
If a third of all the listings are that, maybe without any bias and anything else, these are the chunks of people we want to serve. We want to serve builders, investors, buyers, sellers, treat them all equally, have a good game plan for all of them.
Yeah. Well, and kind of going back to the builder thing, I mean, in today's market, where a lot of, at least here in Texas, I don't know if it's the same in Maryland, but like a lot of the builders are offering, contributions to closing costs or rate buy downs or different things like that. So that when we go in there and the interest rate's 5%, the buyer's like, well, there's, I'm totally going to do this, right? My monthly payment is significantly less than if I were to go buy, a used home, a resale home, at the same price point. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity. And we've always tried to leverage our relationships with builders and, provide value to them by, potentially doing open houses for them on their off days, for, doing content for them to put out, the property to more people and the community to more people and stuff like that. So, I love that as being a pillar of your business.
100%. And like every new agent, the thing, Katie, is a lot of, and us included with, successful agents who are doing a lot of business, we have a lot of biases too. What used to work, what we think is going to work in the future. It's kind of nice getting fresh perspective, but you just always have to think, like if I was talking to a new agent, I'd say, what does everyone else do in this market that you can also do, but you think you can do better? Loaded question. You can take that in any number of directions. See what everyone else does around here. These people making money. What can you do that they do, but you think you could do it better? So that's a question that actually came from Harvard Business School. And like, that's a question about how to get competition, like how to eliminate competition and how to stand out in your field. So I think we all need to ask ourselves that.
Well, very frequently, I think that we just are like, this is what we do. This is how we've done it. So we're just going to keep doing it that way. And I think, there's just so many things that are happening in the world right now. And so many different things that are impacting real estate, right? That you have to start kind of thinking about that, for all of your business processes, for all of the things that, we're doing on a regular basis, because, whether it's AI or legislation or lawsuits or whatever, right? Like we've got to always try to figure out how to, maintain that competitive edge with the millions of other realtors here in the United States.
Yeah. And part two of that question is, and then what do you do that no one else does? So what do you do that everyone else does, but you're better? And then what do you do that no one else does that you think would be beneficial to the consumer? And that's where we got to stay focused on the consumer, because especially with the world we're living in right now, right? There's a lot of crazy news, but at the end of the day, the consumer is always going to win. Whoever's closest to the consumer wins, as you hear our, coaches and favorite industry people say things like that.
Yeah.
And it's true. So that's the perspective we got to take. Not what's good for the agents, not what's good for the mortgage company, not what's good for the title company, not what's good for my broker, not what's good. No, what's good for the consumer. And if you deliver that, wow, I think you'll be ahead and you'll never go away.
People often lose sight of that. Do you all have, something that like Tom Ferry said for years has been like you should have that crazy offer that people just can't say no to, or people are going to call you because of, right? And, Chris Benjamin in the panel that you guys were, or interview fireside chat that you guys were in at the conference, he mentioned that he has like holds up $100 bill. And he's like, if you meet with me, I'll give you this $100 bill. Right. And that's been his like crazy offer. No one else is doing it now. Probably 50 realtors are doing it, but no one else is doing it. Right. And that's garnering more calls. Do y'all have anything with your team or in your business that you guys have like either a crazy offer or, something like that?
We don't. And I think it's a good idea, and you have to make offers. We don't, only because I haven't thought it through yet. I'm very kind of careful with what I put out in my marketing thing.
Yeah.
I just believe myself personally that I do believe the consumers are better going off with us, because we have strategic plan, and we can actually influence the outcome of a transaction in a positive way. And we have the proof, and we have the ability to really explain that at a basic level to a consumer. And I'm not knocking the crazy offers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I haven't needed to come up with one yet to keep our business where it needs to go.
Yeah.
And I think that can be viewed a couple different ways by the consumers too. It will attract some. Nothing ever attracts everybody. So there's going to be a segment of people that say, "Oh, I like that. I like that $100 offer. That's cool." But then some of the other clients might say, this guy's not for real. He's begging people to talk to. Is this guy not busy?" So everything's a yin and a yang. And I'm not casting any judgment.
Yeah.
What works for one person doesn't have to work for everybody. But short answer is no, I don't have any crazy offers. I believe I'm going to make you more money. I believe I'm just going to make you more money. Because what does a consumer want? At the end of this, more money will be in your pocket because I'm here.
Yeah. Having a larger team. I think you guys have like 20-ish agents on the team, maybe, give or take a few, depending on the day. What do you guys do as far as lead gen, right? Like, what are your top lead pillars that bring in the business?
So that's a good question. Yeah, we have about 25 agents as of at that Real conference. And now we have about 20. And that's not because they left. It's because I'm in this type of market where we have, everyone knows, low inventory, high interest rates, a little more challenging. We rode a wave for a couple of years that was really good, where you could kind of get by even if you weren't that skilled or work that hard. And now you have to work very hard and be very skilled. Kind of a rare combo in our industry. Some people, grinders, and they can get by because they're making 1,000 calls. They're not that good in front of the consumer, but they just grind.
Yeah.
And then you have some people who don't grind, but they're so good in front of the consumer. They can get away and be successful without even working that hard because they're so good.
Yeah.
Now you have to have both. So I'm having a lot of real conversations with people on my team that says, look, I'm trying to paddle out to catch this next wave. It's not fair for the people who are really working hard and trying their best. If you're not going to work hard and show up every day, you can't work here. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you're a bad agent. It just means you can't work here and we can be friends.
Yeah.
And I'm going to trim it down, and I'm looking forward to continuing to trim it down unless the behavior will change. So that's some real talk right there. Like, ask yourself this: are you working every day? Are you? And are you constant focusing on improving as an agent and doing the behaviors that are going to lead for your success? And if you're not, and on our team, if you're not doing that and you can't prove it to me, then I'm just going to let you go in a very friendly way.
Yeah, for sure. So a follow-up on that statement, right? What are some of the things that you're looking at as a team leader in your agent's performance, right? Because like, it's easy to say, okay, hey, you haven't sold any homes, right? But like, what if they're doing the right thing? So what are the KPIs, or what are the things that you're looking at on a regular basis with your agents to determine if they are improving their skills and working hard?
So when you're focusing on like the leading indicators, what types of behaviors are we looking to enforce that we know will lead to the results, that sort of thing. Those change too, by the way, when the market changes, right? Because, but at the most basic level, is your database organized, and are you leveraging your own database? Mm-hmm. Like Tom Ferry would always say, the deals are already in your phone. You have the people, you have the database, but unfortunately, some agents didn't take that. We all have world-class CRMs and these beautiful tools, but people don't even use them. So, do you have your past clients in here?
Okay.
Is your sphere in here? And really sit down and look at, are they tagged? Well, no, not really. If you can't do that, we can't even I can't move forward.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Is your database in check? Two, and do you have priorities every day that you're going to get done? Because you know what your priorities are? It's what you actually do. That's it. Don't confuse it. I don't care what you say your priorities are. Your priorities are what you do every day.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's look at what you're actually doing. Oh, you're not doing anything. No, your priority is to go to the movie. Your priority is to stay home and watch TV. Let's look at how much screen time you have on your phone. This is an invasion of privacy. No, I'm trying to help you. Oh, 7 hours on Instagram. That's your priority.
Yeah.
So it's like, we want to know what the priorities are, which is how many contacts are you making? What are you doing to enhance your skills and your language patterns around representing buyers, representing sellers, understanding new construction, working with investors? How many people are you getting face-to-face with? It's a conversation contact business, and it's uncomfortable. It's not for everybody. Everyone gets in a lot of times because maybe they're unemployable elsewhere, or they think this is interesting and they get into this industry. We all know there's a glutton of people here, and they're dropping off like It's just a joke kind of in this country. Market's hot, everyone gets in. Oh, it gets hard, everyone leaves. And we allow it to happen. And I think a lot of this will come tumbling down in the future with all the craziness that's going on. But it's like sales is a hard job. It is not for everybody. And it's very serious. And people need to take it seriously.
Yeah. No, I think that making sure that everything is organized is important. We actually have a VA on our team that goes through and checks for action plans and checks for, contacts, checks for the amount of tasks and things like that, right? So that we're making sure that we're continually updating and keeping things, the way that it should, because all of the action plans and the different things like that are going to, if you follow them, you'll be in communication in the appropriate cadence and frequency that you should be. So,
but Katie, you know what my problem is? Here's my problem. See,
tell me your problem.
My problem is I don't want to hold people accountable. I don't want to hire a VA to hold them accountable either. I don't want to do it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You probably should. You probably should. If I feel like I have to look over your shoulder to understand if you might actually be working, you shouldn't be here. Get around accountable people. And you don't have to hold them accountable. They'll actually be holding you accountable as the leader versus you inverse it. If you get good people, that's why I want to shrink the team quite a bit.
And so, obviously it's continuing to do that, right? And continuing to take a look at who you have on the team, if they're doing the right things. I love the screen time thing. Hermosi actually said that at the conference when he was like, one of my excuses is I don't have enough time. He's like, and then, Layla asked me to open up my phone and show me screen time. And she's like, well, here's 4 hours that you could have been doing the things that you say you don't have time to do. And he's like, oh shit, like you're right.
Yeah, I mean, we're all guilty of it too. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it's prospecting, I swear. When you're looking to hire more agents, what are things that you do to everyone interviews well, everyone says they want to work hard, everyone says that they want to sell more homes. How do you dig deeper on that to determine if someone actually has that grit that you're looking for, for them to hold themselves accountable and do the things that you expect them to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know there's a lot of processes and systems that can help people with this thing. It's not like our industry is the only one who struggles with finding good people, right? This is any company, anywhere.
Yeah.
How I do it is I kind of just go with my gut. I want to talk to them, and I want to feel like the very first thing I look for is, can they have a normal conversation with me, and can they make me comfortable? I'm comfortable, but sometimes, people come in, if they don't look you in the eye, you give whatever your gut feeling about them. That's how other people are going to feel too. Can they make people comfortable? Got to give people a little benefit of the doubt, because they could be nervous and that sort of thing. But I just say, do I like this person? Do I think they can learn quickly? And are they going to work hard? You can't tell that one day. Yeah. But that's why I give everyone like a 6-month trial kind of thing out of the gate.
Do y'all have a multiple interview process?
No, we don't have a process, and we should. But again, I'm kind of looking forward to distilling everything down instead of growing. And which is the opposite of how I've been my entire career. Grow, get more people. We need to get bigger. I want to sell 1,000 homes a year. That hasn't changed. That is still my goal. That's our vision. We want to get to 1,000 units a year. I'm convinced I don't need that many people for it. And I think the industry has spoken in a number of ways that we don't need all these agents to handle this number of transactions. You need really quality people who are super committed. And that's what we really need.
You mentioned the buyer agent compensation, and obviously that's a hot topic these days. Are you all hyper focused on listings right now, or what have y'all done as far as kind of mindset for the team? Have you shifted at all? Are you changing your training at all? What does that look like?
I think everybody, even forget any of the lawsuit compensation things. I don't think it's crazy unfair. I really don't. But whatever. I think the justice will prevail. We can only focus on what we can control, right? Quality agents like your team in Texas, like our team in Baltimore, it's always just been about helping people get what they want. We want to serve people at a high level, and whatever the rules are, we'll play by the rules, right? Yeah. Period. So we didn't create the rules. We're not going to create the next ones. We're just existing, right? In the rules that the game's played. But I think if we're honest, we should always, this business is really, you can really only survive if you represent sellers and buyers, but you have to get listings. So we're really focusing on representing sellers and helping sellers because the inventory is low, and there's a lot of buyers out there who need inventory. So yes, we are focusing primarily on how do we get sellers, and then from there everything kind of cascades down. But that's been the same way since well, I've only been in the industry for 12 years, but I imagine list to last, right? You got to get some listings, from the listings, get the buyers, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. No, I mean, and if you control the inventory, you're definitely going to have more market share. And obviously buyer leads come from that as well. Buyers will come directly to you as a listing agent and inquire that way as well.
Oh, 100%. Like, are you guys doing anything differently in Texas?
I mean, we haven't changed anything significantly as far as how we do business or anything like that. The portion of our team that focuses in on listings, like, we've been just more focused this year on expired listings and things like that. Cause like, obviously those disappeared for a few years. Almost everything was selling. And any agents that are newer and just work with buyers at this time, like, I mean, we've just been very focused in on what the conversation is around, how we get paid, what that looks like, what we're doing for them, explaining the process of, the different things that we would do other than just setting up a search for them and then taking them to show properties, right? Because there is, depending on the client, other things that we're doing regularly, right? So that's really been our focus, but it's maybe been elevated a little bit over the past year, but it hasn't been something that, like, I mean, we've always done script practice and role play around that kind of stuff, right? So
I need to do more of that, like the script play, the scripting and role play and practice. Like, we're weak on that on our team, and that's shame on me. Like, I'm good, but that doesn't help if our team's not equally as good. So I really want to work on that. And, to stand up for some of these agents too, it's like, man, the consumer has no idea what some of these buyers agents go through. Hard job. But it was so easy back when the market was great. And even in the last 2 years, where people are perceiving, wow, these agents made all this money because, values went up and the market was hot and a lot of transactions went down. You know what it's like for a buyer's agent to show a buyer 32 homes, write 16 offers, lose all of them, keep going, keep grinding while making nothing. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of times that the public doesn't realize how much work goes into this. With nothing, you get nothing.
Well, I think we've also done a bad job of, of sharing, right? Because most people, it's like all you see on an Instagram feed is like them with like a big key at a title company, just sold, just sold, just sold. And like the thing that I've been talking about for years now is like, hey, it's fine to show some proof of success, right? Like, you want people to know that you're transacting, you're in the market, you're helping people to buy or sell. But like the story, right? Like, these buyers stood tough through, multiple offer situations, through this, through that, and highlighting that so that people, one, understand that you are able to help them as well, but that you're showing what you're doing and the work that's going into it. But people still just post the key.
That's going to be an art. Exactly what you just said. Telling that story of how that transaction went down is going to be so compelling. And that's what the consumers need to see. And we take it for granted, all the little things you do, because you do it subconsciously, automatically. You've sold so many homes. Like, no, this is the process. But just the fact of how you communicated with the other agent to get this showing accepted. Hey, the sellers didn't want to show the home after 6, but I know it was the only time you could do it, so I got you in. And then we negotiated the deal, and we looked at all the comps, and we helped them weave through this whole complex web of, hey, right now the interest rates are a little bit over 8%, but I got a lender on a 2-1 buy down. This is going to fit your budget, blah, 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 blah. Then you go through the home inspection, and like, there's so many little things. Like, I just think there's some legitimate value there. And the question is, but then Katie, what's weird? On the flip side, sometimes you get a buyer, inquires online, you show them one house, cash deal, they take it, and then you earn a bunch of money. And that's what people are up in arms about. Well, you made all that money, you didn't do anything. Well, look, there's scales there. So I don't know what the solution is, right? But I just think it goes both ways. You got to be prepared for the other side's argument there as well. But the one thing we're not going to be able to get away from, Katie, is you have to be really good at talking to the consumer and showing them exactly what you're going to do. And then you're going to be fine if they perceive value in what you are doing.
Yeah. All right. Switching gears a little bit on this one. Yeah. What's something that you're looking forward to for the next year?
I'm really looking forward to, actually, this month, I'm going down to talk to, it's actually the number one agent in Maryland. His name's Brandon Brittingham. He's currently at Long and Foster. He's in Maryland. Shout out to my boy, Brandon. He's already doing 1,000 deals a year, 18 agents on his team. really good leader, really runs a tight shop, but he does a lot of investor work.
Okay.
So I think these investors, inventory is so low. And there's a lot of people out there who want to buy property to either fix it up, flip it, build it, separate it, change zoning. And I think if you can serve that community, because that's a clientele that all they want to do is buy property and sell property. And we need them as a country, as an industry, we need them. We need people to create inventory. He does a lot of that.
Okay.
And I'm excited to go learn exactly how he does it and how he serves that community at a high level. Because I just think right now, skating to where the puck's going, you got to go with who does create inventory. Okay, we need inventory. Who creates it? Well, it's builders and investors typically.
Yeah.
And builders have a lot more regulation to go through than investors do. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm just excited to see what happens with the industry, because I love this business. I love the agents. I love the communities. I was at the Real conference. I could just being in that room. These are good people, hardworking people, quality people. And it's like that at almost every brand, industry wide. So I'm just excited and interested to see what happens with everything. Zillow's buying things, inventory's low, interest rates are high. There's all kinds of things happening. So I just want to stick around and see it. And I know that as long as you work on your skills and are really good at helping people get what they want, you're always going to get what you want, and just do it with honesty and in accordance with the law, and you're going to be all set.
For sure. I'm super excited to hear more on the investor front. It's something that we've always had a few investors that we work with. But I don't know about you in Maryland, but in Texas, like there are so many people that just like email and call and set up consults and do these things. And then you start talking to them and they've never actually flipped a property before. They've never actually like, so what do you have in your portfolio? They're like, oh, well, like, yeah, we're working on some things. I'm like, okay, so it'll be interesting to see from someone that probably does it at a very high level, right? Like how he and his team wade through the BS and find deals.
We work with a lot of investors now, and we have a lot of listings in like these kind of key downtown neighborhoods. But you're exactly right. You do have to have a filter, because there's a lot of kind of knuckleheads running around who might waste your time, who aren't capable or have intention of actually doing anything, period, or doing it the right way. So the key is you got to find the people. If this is less about working with the investors, but giving the consumers the opportunity to sell their property to investors. Right. It's an outlet for consumers. A lot of times, look, some of these homes are so beat up and maybe they're not best to be listed and be trampled through. And like, just someone please take this house in cash and get away with it. Estates, probate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to get with the investors. I'm just saying. And I think any big team knows they're going to have a component of that. Builders, investors.
For sure. Well, I'm excited. You said you have a course on doing deals with builders or leveraging builders.
Yeah, I wish I had it in front of me. So I partnered with, here's an interesting story. I meet Ryan Serhant. Okay. Everyone knows Ryan Serhant up in New York City. And I went and spent a day with them. We made a bunch of content. Really cool guy, hardworking guy, awesome. Really super cool in person, totally normal, down to earth. And people say I look like him. Okay. So
I was going to say, was it a doppelganger, like Spider-Man moment, or no?
Like so many times on Instagram and on TikTok, people would tag me as him, and then his team starts commenting like, oh my God, I thought it was Ryan for a second. And that's this sort of thing. Even at the Real conference, like 8 people. Anytime you go to any real estate thing, it's like, oh, you kind of look like Serhant. It's like an inside joke. Yeah. So I go hang out with him. We make some content. I'm learning all about the Sell It Like Serhant stuff, which is great. And people on our team and myself included have went through it. Really quality stuff. And I said, on the train ride back, because I'm in Baltimore, so short train ride up to New York for 3 hours. I'm thinking, you know what? I think I could make some of this stuff, and I think it could be better. And Ryan's stuff's great, only because he's selling like $25 million penthouses predominantly. And what agents actually need help with is selling stuff to normal Americans, 2, 3, 4, 500K homes. And I have all this knowledge over the last 12 years that I think is relevant and valuable to the industry. For example, our new home training binder is like this. It goes through every little thing. Here's exactly what a site plan looks like. Here's what's on a site plan. Here's where all the water goes. Here's where the concrete goes. Here's just everything on a site plan. Then that goes further. Here's your house. Here's your building restriction line. Here's every grading line. Here's how many feet above sea level you are. Probably interesting for an agent to you want to know about that if you want to advise your consumer when they're buying real property, building a new home. Then the floor plans, then the critical path to construction. It's stakeout, dig, framing, mechanicals. So there's all this stuff. So what I did was, getting back to your course, on the train ride home, I go, man, everyone wants to sell stuff to agents, but no one's ever sold a lot of training to managers and brokers. And managers and brokers need a lot of training right now. It's a low margin business. So who would be the best at this? Because I don't want to do this myself. If you're going to do this, you have to do it right. So I call a guy who just sold his company he owned Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California, Nevada, and Arizona properties. Sole owner. He had 3,200 agents in 4 markets in 3 states. He did $9.5 billion in volume in 2021. He owned the company, sold it. He's out. So I'm like, this guy would be a good guy to partner with. So I partnered with a guy named Mark Stark. And anyone on the West Coast will know him. He's kind of a legend. He's like one of the biggest, most efficient brokers. So we called it Stark Undem, for lack of a better name. We played around with a million names. Like, let's just put our names on it. So we're making courses every month. But one of our courses was the new home thing. And we talk, because you can't really help the new home sales rep make them their ally unless you know exactly what they know. Hey, look, I understand you're trying to sell these lots. Let's talk about the site plans, the floor plans, the incentives. How do we bring more traffic in here? How do we help you convert the traffic? And how do I get you a non-contingent sale? And if you can provide them value, and only if you can provide them value, will they maybe return the favor, just like anything else in life, with some reciprocity, and then you can be partners.
Yeah.
So we're doing that now in Maryland. Like, I'm listing a lot of DR Horton stuff, national builder, Lennar stuff, national builder, a lot of regional builders, because I can talk to them at a high level. So I understand the development process, the construction process, how they want to position their product to the marketplace, and how the broker community helps with that. Certainly.
Yeah.
So I think it's just fascinating. I just get into that stuff. Katie, you and I are real estate nerds. Like, we're like, oh, that's interesting, but I don't know if anyone else would find it interesting.
Yeah, no, people are like falling asleep, and I'm like, tell me more. This is awesome.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I don't care. I want to move. Okay, I get it. New home, it's new. We can buy it for X price, but there's more to it.
Yeah. For sure. No, that's interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. So appreciate you sharing that. All right, I'm gonna hit you with one last question. Not related to real estate at all. If it was your last meal on earth, what would you be eating?
You know what I do? I go to La Tolteca. It's a cheap Mexican restaurant that I've been going to since 2003. My face is on the wall. Okay. Cal Ripken Jr.'s favorite restaurant too.
Okay.
And I just eat it because that's just what I like. I like Mexican. So that's a tough question. I don't know if my last meal is give me something I know I like. You go to steakhouse, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling it. I know I can always eat Mexican. I'd get a Cal Ripken Jr. burrito and I'd load it up. And I've done a video at La Tolteca. So if you're interested in that, just Google La Tolteca Sure Group and you'll see me in front of it trying to be the mayor of the town, right? With the social media stuff. The video is like 6 years old.
I love it. I'll have to look that up. Awesome. If someone doesn't already follow you on social, where is the best place for them to connect with you?
Well, I'm easy to find. It's just my name. I guess you typed that in. I didn't type it in, but @Undem is my Instagram. Our team is Sure Group Real Estate everywhere, but I'm just Andrew Undem. The handle's @Undem. And if there's anything I can ever do to help anybody, everyone I've ever asked for help has been more than willing to help me. So if you're seeing this and you want to learn about new construction or anything we're doing, I'm happy to help.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me.
Good deal. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Kitty.